duration, I was going back to my grandma's house and helping out my granddad for a night or a day, just doing anything I could. And I couldn't figure out why, every day I was trying to be in McShin and cover a group for somebody, whether it was Nathan, whether it was, I don't know, whoever needed a group covered. I was constantly trying to figure it out. And now that I'm like looking back on it, it was because I'm supposed to be in this field. Like I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing now. It means so much to me that I'm able to work with the intensive guys and that I'm able to do groups and stuff like that and that I get to be in position for the miracle, like watching other guys get what I've got. Like that to me is like holy crap, dude. Like
So you want to hear something terrible?
what's up?
We just got sound.
Oh no.
We've
Yeah.
been soundless for 10
We've been
minutes.
soundless for 10 minutes. So I apologize to anybody that's out there listening. We have been soundless for 10 minutes, and that is completely my fault. A button got pushed that should not have gotten pushed,
Ah,
but I've since fixed it.
that's fine,
Is it though?
I'm done.
Is it?
I'm out.
Art quits. Art quits.
Oh, freaking amateurs, man.
So
I know.
we were just talking about purpose.
Yes, we were talking about purpose. And
Yeah.
How important purpose is to people in early recovery and people in recovery in general, because finding your purpose, like y'all didn't get to hear it, but like we were saying, is detrimental to making or breaking it. Justin does this amazing thing that is this podcast that gets to go out to the jails and gets to go out to other institutions. And we were talking about a guy who is he is a direct product of this podcast and breaking the bondage that gets shipped out to the jails and stuff like that. you know to be able to see stuff like that in action is the hope shot that everybody is looking for, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And Aaron's doing great right now. He just finished the
Aaron's
28
doing
day
awesome. I actually just got
intensive.
to talk to him last night a
Yeah.
little bit. He'll randomly message me, and it's crazy because like we get so many people that come through here, right? And like a lot of them get out of their 28-day program and then they go on to sober living. And once they get into sober living, you really don't hear from them or see them that often, because that's the whole idea behind sober living, is to get you back out into society and get a job, start making money, start paying, your rent, and start, paying your bill back together,
Being responsible.
you exactly. And getting, while having some accountability, but you get a chance to get out in the real world, um, without without a lot of the real world threats. If you know, if you can grasp
Yeah,
what I'm
you're
saying.
in the bubble, but you're not
You're in the bubble,
bubble.
but you're not in the bubble.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can choose to come up here to the church as often as you want to, or you can only come up here when Wednesday nights and Sunday for the once a month meetings. You can. It's really up to you. Art, you're in sober living now, right?
Yeah, I'm in sober living, and being able to come to the church has been really important for me.
Yeah.
When I'm not working, or I'm not really doing anything, I'm usually over here at the church.
Yeah. And that's honestly one of the things that makes me glad that I actually work here, is because the first time I came through here, and you'll hear me, if you listen to the show a lot, you'll hear me compare the first time versus this past time, because they're two completely different sides of the coin. The first time I came through, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I didn't know what recovery was. I had no idea what I was doing. I came here because I didn't have any other place to go. I had already detoxed. I had already gone to Tucker's. So I was done with my detox and everything. And all I was doing was just basically finding a place to live, because I couldn't live with my parents anymore. And I came in and it was like, oh, look, recovery. Like, okay, I guess I'll do this now. And I didn't really take it seriously. I kind of dove in head first, and I was like, I'm Mr. Recovery now. And 6 months later, I was immediately relapsing. Um, But this past time, I knew what I was doing, and I had a plan, and I did. I took the same path. I went to Tucker's, and then came straight here into sober living. But it was a completely different ballgame because I got lucky as to. Let me try to use my words properly. I got lucky by knowing the mistakes that I made the first time through. The first time I came here, did not stay with the herd. I came over to the church as little as possible. I didn't, I attended meetings, but I wasn't really attending. I was just there, you know. I didn't know about other recovery pathways. I thought there was one and one only. And I got turned off because of a very specific aspect of that one recovery pathway that I didn't quite like, that I couldn't necessarily wrap my head around. But this time, I've stayed with the herd. I've got a whole renewed sense of why I'm doing what I do, and like I was saying, working here, that keeps me kind of in the bubble, you know what I mean? But I have a whole other life outside of here. I'll be the first one to admit I don't go to a lot of meetings. I very rarely go to meetings. And it's not because I don't like meetings, because I always do get stuff out of meetings. But one of the things that is said is that when you get a group of addicts together, you basically have a meeting,
Yeah.
And I'm around recovery all day. When I wake up, I come here and it's wham, I'm in the middle of recovery and people trying to recover and that whole thing, that's my whole job, you know. And then when I go home, I just want to be at home. I want to be with my family, like I want to relax, I want to live that home life, and what I don't want to do is burn myself out, because that's something that can very easily be done.
Yeah, you burn yourself out in recovery. I mean,
Yeah.
that's your life.
Yeah. If your life 100% is recovery and all you do is go to meetings and, do your step work and, do your read your literature, like you will get burned out on that stuff, and that's not to say that it's bad. I mean, to some people, they love that lifestyle, but for me personally, if that's all I do, it will burn me out. It will burn me out.
And like not the importance, but how crazy and how easy it is to get burned out.
Yeah.
Is something that is so like I don't think people realize how easy it is to get burned out.
Yeah.
Like it takes no time.
Well, you're burned out before you realize you're burned out.
Exactly.
You start losing interest and you're just like, why am I doing this, man? Like,
Yeah, you got to find the balance.
Yeah, you do. You very much have to find a balance.
I
And
can-
don't get me wrong. Like, I love being in recovery, man. Like, I love this shit with all my heart. And I of course I still have the desire to use is always still there. That's never going to go away. But when I think about the consequences of man, it's so much better on this side of the fence, like being
exponentially.
Clean, being clean and sober is just, it's so much easier,
Yeah.
like it's
100%,
so
man.
much. I got so tired of just the daily grind of having to feed an addiction. And it's so stupid, man. Like it's so stupid having to spend so much time, effort, energy, money just feeding something and trying to gather up as much of something that you're just going to have to go back out and grab more of. Like it's so, if you think it's so stupid, but that's the insanity of being an active addiction. Like you're sick and tired of it, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. You feel like shit all the time, but you still do it. And it's like, why? What are we what are we doing to ourselves, And right now, like, I don't have to worry about that. I just don't have to worry about that, you know? Like I took my dog for, I live in uh a small apartment with my girlfriend and her daughter, and we have this little side yard. And when you look up it, I mean, there's trees and everything, but there's this, view right between the trees where the moon kind of like gets really big and bright at the same time every night.
Yeah.
And I was walking her last night, and I looked up at the moon because I always do. And I just thought to myself, I was like, holy shit, like this is so freeing. Just being able to like exist in this moment without having to worry about shit. Do I have enough for later on tonight? Do I have enough for
Yeah,
tomorrow morning? Do I have like
that's huge. Yeah,
it was so freeing. And I was just like, damn, I can just worry about my dog pooping in the right place, like
Yeah.
I can just worry about going back inside and giving her a treat. Like I don't have to, it's
I don't have to worry about my phone dying
yeah,
on the walks. How am
yeah,
I going to get in contact with my plug if my phone dies?
yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Like that was, I mean, like I have little, I guess you could say, profound moments like that all the time, you know?
yeah, I get them too here and there. Especially like just doing normal stuff like driving around with my roommates and just talking about stuff and joking around. And I'm just like, kind of blows my mind. Like at that moment, I don't need anything else but just some company and like just good conversation and just like just joking around really.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
pretty cool because I couldn't I couldn't do that before. And
No.
well, I mean, I didn't even have anybody to joke with around. And I was talking to my uncle yesterday about how stopping or how you know how getting rid of the drug using and stuff, and like the constantly chasing it, and how much headspace that takes up. And now that it's a little more empty up there, I can fill it with positive things and like relationships and
Yeah.
talking to people, and like my son and my sister, my brother, my dad, my son's mom, who I hadn't talked to in like 2 years, started talking to her again. And I thought a lot of these relationships were burned permanently. And
Mhm.
people are starting to come around, which is awesome. It's really important to me. And I'm really glad that like I'm doing this now.
Mhm.
And you know it's shocking though, really, how like before coming in McShin, or before, because I had done this a few times. This is my ninth time in treatment. And this time's is a lot different because I actually am like committed and willing. And it's crazy how things do change. Like I didn't really believe what other people were saying, like old timers, like how good the recovery high is. and
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's for real. It's not all better yet, but it's gotten drastically
And it's
better.
Yeah.
gonna take a while to get all better, and
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, man, there's still plenty of times where, I get bored and I'm just like, or like I drink too much coffee sometimes, and like I'm over caffeinated, and I'm like, shit, like, like a
Yeah.
downer would be real nice right
Yeah.
now, that, like something like that, but it's like, it's if I give myself permission to do one thing, then I've just
I'm
given
off to
myself
the
I'm off to
races.
the races, exactly. And I don't want to be off to the races anymore, man. My race is over. Like I'm done racing.
Yeah, I was leading a group recently and I was telling them like I don't have that in me anymore.
Yeah,
The last time I used, I died 2 times in the same day.
yeah,
Next time I use, I'm dead for
yeah,
real this time. Like I can't do that anymore.
yeah,
I'm not about it. Like there's something inside of me that is telling me if you do this, you will for sure die.
yeah.
And there's that saying that some must die so that some will live. And I think that plenty of people have paid the price so that I could live. And
Dude,
I don't
plenty of
want
people are still paying the price.
exactly. And
I'm
I
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, Art, I got a question for you too, but I just have to say this, man. Like, drugs ain't drugs anymore, man.
Not at
It's a
all.
death. It's a damn death sentence right now.
Yes,
With, I mean, with everything, freaking pot
Yeah.
being laced with fentanyl. What?
that's crazy.
Seriously, pot?
Yeah.
Like as far as drugs go, that seems like one of the least harmful drugs that's out there. I mean, people use it for to get off of other drugs. Like people use it as almost like a MAT type
Yeah.
situation. And they're lacing it with fentanyl. Are you serious? Like, if it's come to that, then like ain't nothing safe anymore. Ain't
No.
nothing safe. Like, and there's some type of like longer. There's some
Cough
crazy,
fentanyl.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I think it's like 50 to 100 times stronger than
Yeah,
fentanyl.
that's that stuff
Yeah,
that they use on
carfentanil.
elephants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a elephant tranquilizer.
Yeah,
I thought it was something else.
It could be something else. I
it
mean,
could
there's
be, but
there's
I know.
just
I
new
mean, I know
stuff
they're
coming
cutting
out.
fentanyl with carfentanil now.
Something that came from. I'm pretty sure. Like, I just read about it like a few months ago, and like it may have been already out, but it's like hitting the streets now, and
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's like, dude, you can't just go out and get dope and expect it to be dope. Like,
No, not anymore.
like you can't just go out and get cocaine and expect it to be cocaine. Like
yeah.
it's
You gotta
it's not
be.
it's not the 70s and 80s anymore. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crazy. But anyways, Art, you had mentioned that this time was different because you were dedicated, and you were like, what do you think is doing that for you? What do you think is giving you that stronger sense of desire? If I'm gonna
I
put you on the spot.
no, I think I don't talk about this a lot because I don't want people to think that they have to have this experience in order to get sober. But um, for me, I honestly feel like I had like a spiritual experience, not a spiritual awakening, but an experience when
Yeah.
I was at Tucker's, and that like really changed me because I noticed that the thing with me is really trying to, because I know I'm going to think about drugs and alcohol for the rest of my life. The thought, but now the thought comes and goes. It's the obsession that's gone, and
Yeah.
Mm,
it's.
And by obsession, you mean obsession for
I
drugs
mean
and
the
alcohol?
repetitive thoughts, the thoughts, just thinking constantly, and like like doing it and the imagining about it, and just now like the thought comes and it goes.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know, if I have a craving, I kind of tell myself, this is only gonna physically last for about 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and after that, it's all in my head, and I don't haven't even got to that point yet.
Yeah.
It's just that's what's been huge is I know I can feel that the obsession is gone because it just I now I can say that because before it wasn't, and now like I feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
it's yeah, it's really it's freeing for sure.
I got a
So
question
That's
for
awesome,
you.
though. That's awesome. But would you say that you could feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Phil,
sorry.
Phil.
Sorry, he said it, and all I could think is.
But yeah, no, just really quick on what you were asking me, like that. So that's really what has got me to continue doing this. It's just like after I got a little taste of that, of the obsession being gone and my that headspace getting freed up, and now I could feel it with stuff like hanging out with people and actually paying attention to people and participating in relationships
Yeah.
has been um that's what people that's what John talks about is that recovery high, that recovery high that's so much better than that drug high, and it's for real. So I just like I got a little taste of it, so now I just want to keep chasing that really.
Yeah.
And I like John has this story called the story of Babafax, and at the end of the story, it talks about he tells the guy that's looking for the best drug ever, the ultimate drug, that the best drug ever is being clean and sober and being able to participate in relationships and have a loving life and a life full of just awesomeness. And the dude
Hang on
said,
a second, guys. I'm gonna go try to quiet these folks down real
go
quick.
ahead. And the addict in the story goes, oh no, that's not true. And he tells him this random destination, and then he goes, looks over at another yogi and goes, isn't it crazy that people would rather die knowing a lie than stay alive learning a truth?
Yeah, I heard John
Like
talk about
that.
that. That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how many times I would have rather have heard a lie in my active addiction, or how many times I did hear a lie in my active addiction. Like, nah, this ain't got fentanyl in it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I just died.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're at now, guys. Like we're at a point where like we're dropping like flies. And I don't want to drop like a fly anymore. Like I don't want to worry about what's gonna be. I remember when I first got here, somebody did, I think it was Carlos, but he did a group where he made us write our obituary,
That's a good group.
like our own obituary. We had to write our own obituary. And like at the time, I can remember writing on my obituary, Derian Diggs, loved by his family, but hated by his family, no good junkie, never amounted to anything, like all this terrible shit. And if I had to go back and rewrite my obituary now, like it would not be the same at all. And it's because I got a taste of that recovery high by sticking around the people with black key tags, by, constantly getting shit off of my chest when I needed to. If I wouldn't have been able to do that, like I would not have made it to where I am. And I'm glad I got guys like you in my network because I feel comfortable with just, like talking to you about shit.
Yeah, for
Like
sure. Yeah.
I remember your first day here, Art.
Yeah.
Like
I don't.
like I remember Art's first day here. Art came in and like we played, he doesn't even remember this, but we played video games for like an hour before they took him to Tucker's. We like me, him, and Ryan Clatterbuck. We all played video games on my Xbox in our room. And Art has no recollection of that. Like I
Yeah, none.
remember what Art.
Were you high when you got here?
Yeah, yeah. I had flown in from LA and got here like at 9 at night, and I was lit, and I was on the thing. I don't remember because I was on pretty heavy dose of benzos,
Mhm.
so that'll wipe your memory. But
Yeah.
I don't even remember like McShin what it looked like or anything like that. And in at Tucker's when I was there for those 18 days, I kept having this image of McShin it being a little tiny church on a huge steep hill. No, that's not doesn't look like that.
You were at Tucker's for 18 days.
I was there for 18 days. Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I
It was,
remember thinking that guy's not ever coming back.
yeah,
Good
And then
God.
he showed up. Literally, I said that, and he showed up the next day.
yeah.
And I was like, "Isn't that funny how God works?" Like,
Walked down, saw it.
yeah,
Yes, I did.
he like. I remember I was talking to Ryan, and I was like, "Dang, it's been a long time since I've seen Art." And he was like, "Yeah, he's probably not coming back, dude." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, if he's not back now, he's not coming back." And then the next morning, like somebody said something about, oh, we're going to get Art. And I was like, man, no, they're not. And then literally that afternoon, there's Art. And I was like, he was in my room. Like, I was like, yo, dude, are you okay? And he was like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'll tell
I
you what, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I thought I was at Scott House the first night, and apparently I was at Clark the first night, and
Oh.
I just yeah.
Yeah, I ran up to him and gave him a hug. And he was like,
I didn't know who Darian was.
yeah,
I don't remember, dude.
he was looking at me all weird. And I was like, dude, you were in my room your first night here. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, dude, this. And I like broke down everything that had happened. And he was like, I remember none of this.
Yeah,
And I was like, I bet.
yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
The first like 9-10 days at Tucker's, I was hallucinating the whole time. I was going through DTS from the benzo withdrawal, and and then I on top of that, like a week into that, I caught COVID in there.
Oh.
They tested me 3 times, kept testing positive. So on top of the detoxing at Tucker's, I was on I was on COVID restriction by myself in a room for the 18 days, the whole entirety of it. Maybe not the first night, but yeah,
Oh.
it
That
was
sounds
rough.
miserable.
Yeah, I know. And then being super paranoid and like going in the bathroom and they have like it's kind of like kind of like jail. They have like a little metal hole where they stick the toilet paper in. It just sits there.
Yeah.
I would put my ear in there and I could hear the nurses and the doctors conspiring and just yeah. It was a lot. I was looking for remote controls that the nurses could freeze me with, and I tried to jump over the nurses station to get the remotes, and it was a lot. God came down to talk to me, and then I would get out of bed and step to the left, and then he told me I could drop into heaven. It was a really crazy experience. I don't want to do that again.
You know what?
They're so loud.
I know. I'm ready to throw something at him.
Yeah.
Art knows this. My favorite thing to say, like when I'm not upset, but when I'm agitated, is I'm gonna throw something at you. Like our roommate Nick, me and him, like we don't get into arguments. We get into like couples quarrels.
Nick who?
Nick, Aaron's.
Aaron's.
Yeah, we get into like like a little bicker, like an old married couple, and I'll be like, Nick, I'm gonna throw something at you. Like my eyes will get all wide, and we just all start laughing, like dying laughing. But it's cool that I get to do that today.
It is
Like
cool.
normally, when I tell somebody I'm gonna throw something at you, I throw something at them. And that was partially because I was high, like, and I was angry. I was angry because I was high, and I was high and angry, and I didn't know why I was angry while I was high. Like that, to not know my emotions is, to me, like I hate that. Like to not know why I'm feeling some kind of way and what caused that. It makes me so upset. And like being in recovery now, sorry. Being in recovery now, I'm able to understand emotion and like understand how I feel and stuff like that. And I can sit down and I can journal about it and be like, "Oh, wow." You know?
You know, I there's one thing that I know I can think about if I ever find myself in a situation where I'm like, I feel like using right now. There's one thing that I can think about that I know will pull me off of the edge, and that's the the knowledge that I don't ever want to have to go through detox ever. That
No.
is
Yeah.
miserable. Effing miserable. Like meth. Okay, so meth detox. That's like that's not really that bad physically.
Yeah, sleep and eat.
Yeah, you sleep and eat, but mentally,
It's rough. It's
you
depressing. Yeah.
like I've never been in a darker place mentally than I was when I was getting off of meth. But this last time I was on opiates and dude,
Did
like
you poop your pants?
no, I didn't poop my pants. I
Ooh,
didn't poop my pants.
lucky.
I have.
Lucky.
Yeah, no, it was just like my whole body was just incredibly achy. I had no energy whatsoever. Like, I was obviously very depressed. My anxiety was through the roof. And it sucked. Like, it really, and like, I remember I remember feeling like that, but trying to convince myself that I was okay and that I could just carry on with life like everything was normal. And just being like, nah, you felt worse before, you've been sick before, and you've done, and then like 10 minutes later, just like, oh God, everything is
Mhm.
awful. And like, just not being able to eat and throwing up and oh God, like just
I slept in my bathroom at my grandmother's house. Like, me grabbed a blanket and a pillow. I was in the bathtub. I was sleeping. If I got hot, I would like throw the blanket off and get completely naked and throw the
It's hot, cold, hot,
hot,
cold.
yeah,
cold, hot, cold.
like
Yeah.
I would throw the pillow out and I'd turn on the cold shower, and then if I got too cold, I would like turn that off, and then I'd throw the blanket back on top of me, soaking wet, and then I'd puke.
It's
And
miserable.
it is the
Yeah.
worst experience. Like I hate, like I
Like I'd rather be hungover, honestly. Like
yeah.
I've,
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
and like that is a terrible feeling being hungover, but like
Yeah.
at,
At
at
least it
least
goes away like in four
yeah, at least it goes
the
away
same
in a
day.
few
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you can just that like but like detoxing you like I don't know, it's different, man. It's just like there's this sense of hopelessness that comes with detoxing that you're just like in the back of your head, like I know it can make this go away, I know it can make this go
yeah.
away, I know it can and you just like that
Mhm.
just I don't know, for me, like that was just going on in a loop in the back of my head. Like I know what I can do to make this go away, I know what I can do to make this go away, like I just kept repeating that to myself. But it was like, and that's honestly that's why I had to go to Tucker's, because I knew at Tucker's they were going to lock me in a room
Yep.
and there was no hope of getting what I needed to get. There was no hope of it. And but at the same time, I was ready to stop using. I just couldn't do it by myself,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's the same thing with me too. Is like I had made a lot of plans to cut back on certain drugs like fentanyl and switch back to heroin or just use pills or switch or just drop the opiates and just do benzos and but and I was taking methadone and I was like, well, I could just do methadone and benzos and all that sounds crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like what am I doing for real? Like,
yeah,
and and what really I needed was like I just broke down and I asked for help. Like I asked someone that's in recovery, and thank you, Ryan. He just got me a bed here at McShin, and I luckily I really I'm grateful that I did go to Tucker's because if I would have stayed here and detoxed, I probably would have got arrested
yeah,
or something, because I was not thinking right. I was crazy. Like I was gone,
yeah.
and but detoxing honestly is like that's what keeps a lot of people from wanting to get
Get
clean.
clean.
It
Yeah,
really is a
having to
big
go
thing
through
because you don't
detox.
want to go through that. And but the thing
No.
is there is resources and stuff, and there is places like here that really can get you to the right spot so you can deal with it.
I mean, and that's the thing. So for a very long time, I was not for MAT, Suboxone and methadone and all that shit, because I was just like, you're not clean. You're just replacing one thing with another thing, and like if but I had that old school mentality. I was just, and I'm not old school at all. I just had that mentality of like, if you're going to be clean, that means you're going to be clean. That means, no mood or mind altering substances, period. You know, but as I guess, like you could say, progressed in my recovery, it's just like, okay, first off, that's hypocritical as shit because I drink caffeine. That is definitely mood altering. You
Mhm.
know, I take pre-workout powder. That is mood altering. Like I take if you think eating food is mood altering,
Yeah,
you
nicotine.
yeah, nicotine. Like so much of the things that are ingrained in our daily lives are mood or mind altering. Not necessarily mind altering, but definitely mood altering.
Yeah.
Like, but the thing is, like, that's if when it comes to MAT, like exactly what you said, Art. Like, I MAT exists for a reason, you
Yeah,
know,
It helps.
and if
100%
it
it does.
helps,
Yeah.
if it takes that fear of I don't want to get clean because I don't want to have to detox, like if it takes that fear and I'm not going to say nullifies it, but like takes it down a few notches to where it's bearable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it, like do what you got to do, like if taking subs is what makes you stop using all the using street drugs all the time and that type thing, like do what you have to do, like it doesn't make you any less clean than anyone else.
Yeah.
Now I do think there's a difference between, you know I think if you're going to use subs and you really want to get clean, you should taper off of them.
Yeah.
You shouldn't It shouldn't be
A long
a
term.
No,
long-term
that's
thing.
exactly what I mean, I'll come out and say right now, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I was the person to be looking for fentanyl. I use fentanyl, straight fentanyl,
Mhm.
and I was looking for the pressed pills that you know press pills, like because I knew
Yeah.
they had fentanyl in them.
Yeah.
And when I went to Tucker's, they got me off of that stuff and put me on Suboxone and made it more manageable.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't so afraid. It was really the benzos detox. That's what really got me. But I just knowing that you can do it a little easier because you know how miserable it is. It does make it easier. It does. And if I'm not out using smoking fentanyl or shooting fentanyl, and I'm just taking my Suboxone as prescribed, and I am tapering down. I'm down to. I just went to Dr. Breslin's today, and I'm down to 1 milligram from 6.
Hell yeah.
And
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. And I do plan on getting off, but so far so good, man. Like got 100 days today,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hell yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
dude.
so it's this is the best I've done in recovery.
Yeah.
So for me I'm clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taking it as prescribed, and I am tapering down. I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm not out there running around using drugs that will kill me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm off the benzos. I'm off the meth. I'm not drinking. Uh, and it used to be a really sticky subject for me, being in AA or and NA, but mostly I've done AA in California, and I've had sponsors tell me that I'm not clean taking Prozac, like and that's taken me out before. And
Mhm.
what I've come to realize, after 14 years of trying of coming in and out of the rooms is really like if I'm doing the right thing and I'm taking the medication for what it's for, and I'm, I'm that's me. That's
Mhm.
um, I don't know. I feel okay with it, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
You can't like you can't let the way other people perceive things ruin how you perceive things.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. That's the thing. I don't mean to sound insensitive, but to hell with what other people think, man.
for
Yeah.
real.
I mean, seriously, like it's all about your mind. Like if you're obviously doing far better
Way better. Yeah.
than you basically ever have.
Yep.
And whatever you need to maintain that is what you need to keep doing because it's nobody else's life. It's your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
if you're satisfied with it, if you feel like you're in a good place, then that's it. That's all you need. That's
Yep.
what you need, you know? Um like for me personally, like so I take a couple of medications. Um I take Buspar
Mm.
for anxiety, and then I take amitriptyline for it's like like a antidepressant, but it's also like it's supposed to help with like nerve pain because I get migraines real
Oh,
bad. And my doctor prescribed me a low dose to take at night because not only does it help me sleep, but it's supposed to like be like a preventative for my migraines.
okay.
But then I also take a specific migraine medicine that honestly makes me feel kind of crappy when I have to take it. It gets rid of the headaches, but it makes me feel kind of crappy. But like I'm on all these different medications and like, on top of like ibuprofen when I need it and like, over the counter painkillers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like there's people out there that, would say that I'm not necessarily clean because I take those types of medications, And I'm like, dude, like, first off, it's not like I can take those meds and they're gonna like get me high. They're not get high
Yeah.
medications,
No. Yeah.
And like if a doctor tells me I need something, like if I go to the doctor and say, I have really like when I first started doing this podcast, I had oh God, I had such anxiety. I'd sweat, I would get hot, my face would get flush, I would start to shake a little bit. I would have to bring a change of clothes because I would sweat through the clothes that I was using. It was bad. So I had to go to the doctor and I was like, hey man, anxiety, don't want to take benzos, but if there's something that can, so he put me on the Buspar. Okay, cool. I still take it. Do I need to take it? I'm not 100% sure, but I talked to my doctor
Yeah.
and he was like, don't stop taking it. If you want to stop taking it, we can work on a plan for you to stop taking it, but don't just stop taking it,
Yeah.
Um, and I trust my doctor,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not like the best of friends, but like the guy knows I'm in recovery. I told him, stop prescribing me the Adderall, stop prescribing me the Ritalin and all that stuff. Like, I'm not taking that stuff anymore. Like, I'm really trying to live a clean and sober life, blah, 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 blah. And he respects that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he thinks I need he had put me on Vyvanse, and he still thinks I need the Vyvanse, but he knows that I don't want to take anything like that. I don't take anything amphetamine based,
Yeah.
and so he's he doesn't push it on me, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but like,
No, I mean, one thing
Well,
I would say about that is, for me, that like I know I'm in good hands. I like Dr. Breslin's an addiction treatment specialist, or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, addiction treatment specialist, and he knows like what's a no go, like no benzos, like and we did a taper with that too. They tapered me at Tucker's, and then I did a taper with him, and now I'm completely off. I haven't taken any benzos in like 2 months,
nice,
and that's huge because I had been taking benzos for 24, so like 10 years,
yeah,
and it was a lot, and to be off of that and be feeling not so anxious. I get
yeah,
anxious
yeah,
here and there, but like not like before. It was crazy.
yeah,
Um, like I couldn't talk to people without taking a few bars, and um, yeah. So that's the one thing I would say about that is like for me, I have to go to a doctor that knows about addiction or knows that I am in recovery and has my best interest, in mind. And that yeah, that's important, really. To be honest with the doctor.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very important. A
Yeah.
lot of people are I don't know. There's this thing in the back of my head that says, like, if I get hurt, if I break a bone or something, do I want to go in and be honest with the doctor, or do I just want to let them, like, oh, free lapse, like,
Yeah.
Mm.
um, also Patrick,
Pat Jones, who
thanks,
is?
thanks. I, I may be
Arguing.
old, but I can bench press way more than you. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Pat, I'm coming for your title. I want to look like a country dad too.
Country dad.
Yeah, I want to look like that dad that may or may not be from the deep south. Yeah, Pat, I'm coming after you. I'm taking your time. But I wanted to say something on that tip about medicines. Like I have to tell myself all the time, like, walk a mile on my co-occurring disorders, right? And like we are so widely accepting co-occurring disorders in our community.
Y'all keep talking. I have to change my battery out real quick.
Go ahead. We are so widely accepted in our in our community with co-occurring disorders, but there's still the stigma about us taking medicine and stuff like that. Like I cannot physically manage, like I cannot finish, I cannot finishly, I cannot physically manage my bipolar disorder without my medicine. Like that is a reality that I've had to come to terms with because I know what happens when I get off my bipolar meds. I get really irritable. I become an asshole. I'm either up here or I'm way down here. I have often described it to my
You
grandmother.
become an asshole.
Yeah, just I am an asshole. I still am. But I've often like described my bipolar disorder to my grandmother as like, have you ever been so happy that you wanted to kill yourself? Like,
Shit.
no, straight up.
I
Shoot.
don't mean to laugh, but like,
That's something
damn.
Yeah.
that's something that's happened to me. Like I got to a point where I was so freaking happy that I was like, this is the happiest I'll ever be. I will never experience anything greater than this. My life will amount to nothing greater than this. Let's die right now.
Yeah, that's real, and that's serious.
And that's what happens when I get off my meds. Like you can't tell me I'm not clean because I'm taking these meds. I'm clean because I got off of those drugs that were truly harming me. I have not smoked crack in 6 months. I have not shot dope in 6 months. I have not snorted a pressed pill in 6 months. I am clean. I have these disorders that are telling me or that mess with my brain saying you are not good enough. I'm majorly depressed. I have to take medicine for my depression. I have terrible anxiety. I got to take medicine for that because I know when I don't take it, I get the shakes, man.
Yeah, dual diagnosis is a it's not a uncommon thing with addicts. And then especially once you stop using drugs, all that stuff comes out, and it's important to watch it and take care of it. And um, yeah. So just be aware of that.
All right, host Darian.
That's me.
We're at the 54-minute mark.
We are.
We are. Time flies when you're, having fun.
Having fun, great
Yeah.
conversation.
I think it went okay.
Yeah, you did great. Art was nervous.
I know, but he doesn't need to be. Like, everybody's nervous when they first come on, and you've been on it before. Like, it's not even your first time.
Yeah.
He was like, it took me so much convincing to get him to do the podcast with me.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, come on, just do it. He was like, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to help set up.
You don't ask. You just say, hey, you're doing or no, I know what I'm going to do from now on. Hey, you want to help me set up the podcast? And then just say, hey, sit over there.
Yeah.
And then just go live. And
By the way, we're live.
we're live, and you're the guest. So have fun.
Welcome this Saturday.
All right. So, what does McShin have going on? There's no events this weekend, are there?
No.
Yeah, there's no events this weekend. There's a lot of events coming. There's the golf tournament coming up.
May,
isn't it?
I want to say the 22nd.
That's what I was gonna say. The 22nd. I think it is the 22nd.
I think
so.
the White Marker
But
Project,
next week on the show, the 19th, it will be Testify Tuesday.
Holy.
With Elder Walter Randall, MDIV. Walter's awesome, though. I love that guy.
Can I start calling myself Derian PRS?
No.
PRC? Peer Recovery Coach?
No.
Why not? I've earned those titles. I'm getting business cards that say that regardless.
Anyways. So we got Testify Tuesday on the 19th. And then on the 21st, we have Miss Amy Burke Denellen. She is the community outreach manager at Brightview. She was just in here, actually. But yeah, that should be a good show. I'm not exactly sure what Brightview does or what they are. I believe they're like some type of health organization.
Is that the nice lady that was here yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same one. Yeah. She seems super nice.
I'd like to get a shout out to Zoe Freedom Center because those are the people that got me connected with McShin. I'd like to get Dana Brown on this show. Dana Brown is she's a PRS.
Okay.
She's super cool. I think she would do great on the show.
If you want to book somebody, yeah, we can talk about that off the air.
Okay.
Off the air. But yeah, I mean, we got a couple good shows coming up.
I love doing the podcast.
Country Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Who is Pat Jones?
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and land the plane. And
yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it.
Do you have any closing remarks, Art?
I just want to say what's up to my son Noah. What's up, buddy? Miss you. Love you. That's it.
Do you have any closing remarks, Justin?
I think I just said all of them.
All right. Well, my last thing is I like to leave at house meetings. I like to leave everybody with a quote. And I got one that's been sticking with me recently. Mahatma Gandhi says that the biggest mistake you can make in life is fearing that you will make another one. And that's all I got. Thank you for letting me host this podcast.
Tight.
And we'll see you next time. Pew, pew, pew.